While I share the occasional client session recording, I also write up summaries of other sessions and post those on social media and on my website laron.nz. This time around I'm going to read out the last one I shared, as I'm sure some of you are not following those other spaces. Because of the level of detail and unique client experience, I'll be including the full transcript in a future book, but here's the summary of this past life regression session I facilitated last week using Dolores Cannon's QHHT method, with a few excerpts from the session. So my client is Polish, who's in her late 30s with 3 children and is an artist. At first she found herself standing on a metallic surface. Her body had soft grey skin and no clothing. Her feet had 3 unusually wide toes. The body was skinny and around 5 feet. Her head, oval in shape, had black eyes about twice the size of a human. There didn't seem to be a sex, but it had more male energy than female. She first found herself in a small spaceship on the surface of a dry, rocky planet. The two of them were researching the environment and conditions of that planet. The equipment in the first room of the ship included wall screens, chairs built into the ship, and control panels in front of the chairs below the screens. After they finished their work investigating the conditions on the planet, they returned to a large mothership. It feels like we're just exploring the universe, looking for places that other races can be sustained on, she said. Higher beings were provided the information they found. I asked if these higher beings could be physical. The response was, they can be anything they want. It depends what they need to be. They can definitely make themselves look like physical beings if they have to. They prefer to stay in light form. I asked more questions and found out that the grey being was 70 and lived hundreds of years. That they were grown in a lab, coming into the world in adult form. They have organs, including a brain, and are not robotic or synthetic. No education was required, as each one had a role programmed into their genes. Their knowledge was already present when the body is fully grown and when the spirit enters. So an engineer on the ship, an explorer that researches planets, etc. Hundreds of years before, they inhabited a planet, but now permanently reside on this mothership, which is self-sustaining and has very advanced technology. No relationships, no entertainment needs. Every few weeks they would get inside a chamber in the wall to recharge their energy. No dreaming. At the base of each foot, a tube was connected, one to provide nutrients, the other for excrements. They are all connected and think of themselves as a family. When coming in, they maintain some memory, so recall their connection to their soul group and higher self. After her time was up in that body, she found herself in spirit form, observing her people in one of the small ships, but this time around it was on Earth. It was present day in terms of our timeline, so this ended up being a simultaneous experience to her current life. After testing multiple locations on the planet, they found Earth to be very sick. She went on to say the actual structure of the planet that used to provide people with nice, healthy, sufficient food and water has become poisoned. People have done a lot of damage to Earth. They never stop to consider what they are doing. Even though at this point of time, people might think that they are making a difference, it's just individuals can't make much of a difference, but the big players can. The big players say they are changing things, but they are not. I asked her to examine the data that being collected on Earth. She said, the soil is not very healthy anymore. There's a lot of chemicals everywhere. It's like they've pumped the body full of metals and poisons. It's like poisons, and everything has gone further into the center of the body, and it's very, very sick. It's like there's parts that try to clean themselves. Mother Earth really tries. There's so much that just keeps coming. They just don't stop. While one may think this could be described as a bit of a robotic experience, it really wasn't. There was a lot of joy and love here. She was happy with what she was doing in that life and role. The memory that was retained after coming in allowed her to understand her purpose and know there was so much more beyond that one experience. I asked if she had any fears before passing, since she knew that was coming, and she replied, no, it felt like we were going back to everything, so there was more joy. It's not like a human where we're wiped clean, where we have no memories. Here we were all aware of it, that we are working for a bigger picture, for everything there is. I asked what she felt the main lesson or purpose was. She said, it's just for fulfilling my purpose within the structure of the whole community. So being a part of the community and giving what I can give, what I can sense I can give to help the whole creation and functioning. We all have a little bit that we can always give. We always have a little role that we can fit into the whole structure of the source of the energy. We all have like our own little puzzle piece that can make the puzzle better. Obviously, if we choose not to play, it's okay, as it's not going to destroy the puzzle, but when we fit the puzzle pieces together, it helps. I then asked how this life helps soul growth. She said it's definitely helped. It's just more rewarding to have a life that is more fulfilling and helping, as opposed to just staying isolated completely. After this life, she returned to her soul group where there was much love and joy. And she said, we are all sort of interconnected. It's like how energies can merge with each other. It's like parts of our energies connect together. If we choose, we can become one for a moment, just to show how much love we have for one another, just to share that connection, even further than what we normally have, which is full anyway. We don't need to come together, but they do. They sort of join my energy with theirs. It's just so beautiful. They just love me so much. It's that sort of love that it's completely unconditional. There would never be any questions of any sort. It'll always be. It feels safe. It was always like this. It will always be like this. It's just nothing. No speck of negativity that could describe it as. It's just this beautiful, loving. It's like you don't want to mention judgment, as you know judgment doesn't exist. There's no punishment. No matter what your journey has taken you through, whatever experiences you have gone through, and the lives you might have partaken in, it doesn't matter. It's just all washed away. You get the lessons out of it, but it doesn't matter in the sense of your path led you to negative things. You just don't get judged. All of that doesn't matter. It's just very beautiful. They are really happy that I am home. They are just really proud. They are always really proud of everything I've accomplished. They're really happy. Okay, so that's the end of this session summary. I've been facilitating these sessions for about 10 years and do most online these days. I have found people are more relaxed online from being in their own space, and this is also why I visit people in their homes. So for inquiries, bookings, and more information on what I offer with the regression session, see the video description below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already.